The crack of a flagpole snapping in two shattered the morning calm of Crestwood Estates, followed by a woman's venomous shout. "You think you could define me in my neighborhood?" Cynthia Reynolds stood in a stranger's front yard, her face a mask of fury, clutching the broken halves of the pole. The American flag and an Army veteran flag lay crumpled in the grass, desecrated. A man in a faded Army jacket stood frozen, his eyes blazing with barely contained rage. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, their morning routines forgotten. This wasn't just an HOA dispute, Anna Maria, it was a declaration of war. Jake Larson had dreamed of peace when he moved to Crestwood Estates. After 15 years in the Army, including 2 tours in Afghanistan, the quiet Ohio suburb seemed like the perfect place to start over. Neat brick houses lined the streets, their lawns manicured, and the community pool gleamed under the summer sun. Neighbors had greeted him with smiles and casseroles when he arrived 3 months ago, but Jake soon learned that Crestwood had a shadow ruler. Cynthia Reynolds, the HOA president everyone secretly called the Queen. Her word was law, enforced with a clipboard and a glare. Jake's home was modest, a reflection of his disciplined life. He'd painted the walls neutral, hung a few photos from his deployments, and kept the furniture sparse. His pride was the 7-foot flagpole beside his driveway, flying 2 flags, the stars and stripes above, and below it, the Army veteran flag, its green and gold a tribute to his CRVYC. He checked the HOA bylaws before installing it. Flagpoles were allowed up to 8 feet. Flags had to be appropriate, and nighttime illumination was required. Jake had wired a spotlight to comply, ensuring the flags glowed after dusk. To him, they weren't just cloth, they were a reminder of fallen comrades and battles, Sir V.Y. Ved. Trouble arrived on a sticky Saturday morning with a sharp knock on his door. Jake opened it to find Cynthia Reynolds, arms crossed, her platinum blonde bob gleaming under the cloudy sky. Oversized sunglasses hid her eyes, but her tight smile radiated hostility. "Good morning," Jake said, keeping his tone even. "Can I help you?" "I'm Cynthia Reynolds, HOA president," she said, her voice clipped. "That flagpole in your yard violates our guidelines. It needs to come down." Jake frowned. "I checked the bylaws. Flagpoles are permitted up to 8 feet, and both flags are appropriate, the American flag and the Army veteran flag." "The American flag is fine," Cynthia snapped. "But that veteran flag is a personal statement. We only allow national flags. You have 48 hours to remove it, or you'll be fined $50 a day." She thrust a violation notice into his hands and marched off, her heels clicking on the pavement. Jake stood in the doorway, the paper crumpling in his grip. Anger simmered in his chest, a familiar heat from his days under fire. Across the street, his neighbor Tom Baxter pretended to trim his hedges, clearly listening. Down the block, a jogger slowed, earbuds dangling. Crestwood was watching. He spent the afternoon studying the HOA bylaws, a maze of rules governing everything from paint colors to mailbox styles. Section 4.3 stood out. Tasteful displays honoring military CRVYC are permitted. No mention of specific dates, no ban on veteran flags. The Freedom to Display the American Flag Act protected his right to fly the stars and stripes, but the veteran flag was a gray area. Still, the bylaws backed him. Jake decided to hold his ground. 2 days later, Cynthia returned with a man in an HOA-branded polo shirt. "Mr. Larson, this is Gerald, our enforcement officer," she said, her tone dripping with superiority. "Since you've ignored our notice, we're documenting the violation and starting fines." Jake stepped onto his porch, arms crossed. "I've read the bylaws, Mrs. Reynolds. Section 4.3 allows military CRVYC displays. There's no rule against my flag. I'd like to discuss this at the next HOA meeting." Cynthia's face reddened. "That rule is for Memorial Day displays, and you know it. We have standards to maintain. If we let you break the rules, everyone will want an exception." Her voice rose, drawing stares from neighbors watering plants or checking mailboxes. Gerald shifted nervously. "Cynthia, he might have a point about the wording." "I wrote those bylaws, Gerald," she barked. I know what they mean. She stormed off, Gerald trailing behind. Over the next week, violation notices appeared daily, taped to Jake's door or slipped into his mailbox. Tom Baxter, over a beer on his porch, shared that Cynthia had been unbearable since being passed over for a promotion at her real estate firm. The HOA's her empire, Tom said. Last year, she fined me because my grass was half an inch too long. Jake prepared for the HOA meeting like a mission, printing bylaws and drafting a statement. The community center was packed, neighbors whispering as he took a seat. Cynthia ran the meeting with an iron grip, her gavel banging sharply. When new business opened, Jake stood. I'm addressing the violation notices about my veteran flag, he said calmly. The bylaws, Section 4.3, permit military SARE VYC displays year-round. There's no prohibition against my flag. Cynthia leaned forward, eyes narrowing. You're twisting the wording, Mr. Larson. The board interprets the rules, and your flag VYOLATs are aesthetic standards. A grizzled man in the back spoke up. I'm a Vietnam vet. It's a disgrace to fine someone for honoring SARE VYC. What's next, banning Christmas lights? Cynthia's jaw tightened. This isn't about veterans, Mr. Callahan. It's about procedure. Mr. Larson should have submitted his flagpole for approval. The room erupted, neighbors arguing fiercely. Jake stayed composed, presenting facts, refusing to be baited. The board's vote shocked Cynthia. 4-3 in Jake's favor. Pro VY dead, he kept the flags pristine. Her smile was icy as the meeting ended. Jake thought it was over. He was wrong. 3 days later, he returned from his store to find Cynthia in his yard, Super VY, sing, 2 men. One was uprooting his flagpole, the other scribbled on a clipboard. The flags lay in the dirt. Jake's heart pounded as he slammed his truck door. What are you doing? He demanded, his voice low but lethal. This is my property. Cynthia turned, triumphant. The board gave you an exemption, not a blank check. Your flagpole wasn't approved by the architectural committee. We're Remo VYing it, per our authority. Put it back, Jake said. You need a court order to touch my property. We sent notices, Cynthia sneered. This is standard remediation. Not without a court order, Jake shot back. You're trespassing and stealing. I'm calling the police. Cynthia laughed. Go ahead. They know HOA rules. They won't care. Jake dialed 911, reporting the situation calmly. He snapped photos of Cynthia, her accomplices, and the damaged flagpole. The attorney muttered, Cynthia, maybe we should check the procedure. We are the procedure, she snapped. Officer Daniels, a stocky man with a stern face, arrived. Cynthia talked over Jake, insisting her HOA authority justified her actions. Daniels raised a hand. One at a time. Mr. Larson, your property, your story. Jake explained the dispute, the board's vote, and Cynthia's unauthorized entry. He showed the flagpole and flags. Cynthia shouted, I'm enforcing our bylaws. Daniels cut her off. HOA rules are CIVYL. They don't let you enter private property or take belongings. That's trespassing and theft. Got a court order. We don't need one. Cynthia insisted. So no, Daniels said. ID from all 3 of you. You've refused to leave private property criminal trespassing. Cynthia's face turned purple. This is outrageous. I'm protecting our standards. Do you know who I am? Jake handed Daniels his military ID, mentioning his SARE VYC. Daniels nodded. Thank you for your SARE VYC. I get what that flag means. Cynthia, panicking, grabbed the flagpole and snapped it in half, screaming, Now there's no flag to fight over. Neighbors gasped. Daniels' eyes hardened. That's destruction of property, he said, cuffing her. You're under arrest. Cynthia struggled, shrieking as he read her rights. Jake retrieved a shadow box from his house, containing his bronze star and purple heart. This is what that flag represents. Officer, he said quietly. 15 years, 2 tours, and friends who didn't come home. Daniels nodded, while Cynthia stared at the medals, her defiance collapsing. The fallout was swift. Cynthia faced charges of trespassing, felony vandalism. The flagpole and flags exceeded DO Law 1000 and violations under Ohio's veteran protection laws. At her arraignment, the judge HOA, retired Marine set bail at DO Law 25,000, rejecting leniency. Her real estate firm suspended her, and the HOA board ousted her, electing Tom Baxter as president. Neighbors rallied around Jake. One gifted him a new flagpole, installed with a small veteran-led ceremony. The Army flag flew again, vibrant against the sky. Cynthia's sentencing sealed her fate. 6 months probation, 200 hours at a VA hospital, and DO Law 5,000 in fines plus restitution. She left the courtroom in tears. Her reign as Crestwood's queen ended. Jake found peace in his home, the flags outside a quiet testament to his resilience. He'd fought for his country, and now for his place in it some battles, it seemed, were won on suburban lawns. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.